Hey, we just had prayer, so we had breakfast and prayer. Put my glasses somewhere. Anyway, so we just had, let me figure that out. There you go. Breakfast and prayer, and then we had an opportunity to pray with a couple people. One couple that I prayed with, man, it was just a good word for me, and I just wanted to share this. And he said, he goes, I saw your thing on here. I make those T-shirts and about the crown of thorns, and he says that he goes when like a shepherd when they're out into the wilderness to protect the flock, they'll create like a fence of some sort with some thistles and some thorns and some vines and things, which I thought was really cool. And he goes, we're in the safe confines of the shepherd while we're within that fence. Now we then, for some of those sheep that if like they start nudging towards the edge with their head, you start nudging towards the head, and of course there's some sharpness there where God convicts us, but then eventually it becomes so that it's not so sensitive, and then they get out, and then they're exposed to whatever's outside the protection of the shepherd, which is really great symbolism with Christ. And when we are in his kingdom or in his covering, that we can continue to press towards that sin is what it is, and by pressing into that sin nature, that eventually we become deadened to it or not so sensitive to it, and then that light leads us outside, which then leads us to attack from those negative things. But really, really good. And then also the symbolism on when they put the crown on to Christ, and being covered by that crown of thorns, or just amazing symbolism. And you can be prayerful about that and see what God gives you on that. But it's really just an amazing analogy with that. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Jesus. Hey everybody! I just wanted to show you like how people Europe seems to hold their utensils. It's a little bit more sophisticated than in America. So typically they have a fork and a knife, and then this one, the fork is usually upside down when you're cutting, and this is how they do their sandwiches. So most of the people I saw, they grab here, and then they would cut it into fours. Which it really makes kind of a lot of sense, but you're only getting half the carbs maybe. And then you just eat it this way. If you had something that you needed to scoop, then say, well, this is not a scoopable thing, but if you had something that you need to scoop, then you just spin it around going this way. I don't know if you can see it, and then you're pushing onto the fork like that, and you're eating with your left hand instead of your right. It's supposed to slow you down just a little bit so that you can do right. But it was kind of cool how they did the sandwiches, and then how they use utensils instead of just like just putting down food. Cool. There's a little tip.